So it's officially official. Danny Dimes is going to the bench as the QB3 for the New York Giants. He won't even be serving as the backup. The backup role, QB2 role, is being handed to Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito is once again the QB1 for the New York Giants. A lot of Giants fans are kind of clamoring for Drew Lock to be the starter right now, and I want to see Drew Lock as the QB1, but the thing is, Tommy DeVito has been with the team a lot longer, and I'm sure he knows the system a lot more. And not only that, but Drew Lock got hurt early on, I believe in August, sometime in training camp, so he definitely missed some time and some key reps of learning the system and just getting used to everything. So I'm sure Brian Dable trusts Tommy DeVito a lot more right now than Drew Lock. And with that, he's also potentially coaching for his job and his future as the Giants head coach, even though the Giants owner made comments 2-3 weeks ago about Brian Dable and their GM Joe being safe for the foreseeable future. But you know what, man? You lose a couple brutal games and everything goes out the window. Winning cures everything, and losing just amplifies everything and makes it 20 times worse. So, will Brian Dable be the head coach for the Giants going forward? Will Danny Dimes return to the Giants roster a year from now? Hopefully both hard-nosed to both of those questions, but we'll have to find out. And another big reason why the Giants benched Daniel Jones now is because he has an injury guarantee tied to his current contract. The Giants would owe Jones $23 million in 2025 if he were to get hurt and not be ready for the start of next year. So definitely saving some money there and potential headache there. And I just really hope they move off of him. Just cut him. Just cut your losses. Move on. And yeah, sure, there's going to be a cap hit and some dead money there for sure. But I think you just got to, thank you for your service, Daniel Jones, and just start a new era in New York. Hopefully they get a high draft pick. Right now it's currently a top 3 draft pick. So hello Shador Sanders. Hello maybe Cam Ward. Maybe another big time QB will emerge as a top prospect. I don't know. But it's really time for a new era in New York. And, it's not all doom and gloom, because you do have that draft pick. And I feel like there is potential to get a new good head coach in the 2025 offseason. If it's not Bill Belichick, maybe it's Mike Vrabel, maybe it's Cliff Kingsbury, and I think all 3 of those guys are solid head coaches. Bill is obviously the greatest head coach of all time. I know a lot of people have had their fair share of harsh criticisms of him the last 3-4 years, with Brady winning a Super Bowl in Tampa and just how the Patriots looked post-Brady. But guess what, man? He's probably the greatest defensive-minded person to ever enter the NFL. So definitely an asset if you're a Giants fan, and his heart belongs with the Giants. He's won a couple of Super Bowls as the DC there back in the day. I know he would definitely be interested in that job. We'll have to find out. I would be concerned about the offense if they do go down that route. That's why bringing in a solid OC with a good reputation is key, because I don't know how Bill would do with a young rookie QB. I'm sure he would manage, but I think the Giants finally deserve to have a good offense. I feel like it's been a long, long time since the Giants have been competent in that department. For me personally, off the top of my head, the last time I remember the Giants being good offensively was probably 10 years ago with prime OBJ, Eli Manning, of course. Kind of around that era when they actually made the playoffs, I believe like in the 2016-2017 year, when they took that infamous boat picture right before the Packers playoff game. Sterling Shepard, OBJ, Victor Cruz. I'd say around that time is the last time they had a good offense. So like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Giants fans are deprived, and I feel like they're close, man, because they have Malik Neighbors, they have Tracy. You know, those are two solid pieces. If you could just get a QB in there, and I know Hyatt has potential. If you could just get a QB in the mix and just have good coaching and a good week-to-week game plan, I feel like this team could be competitive, especially in a division like the NFC East, where historically it's kind of been a crapshoot of just a new division winner every year, essentially. I know the Eagles have kind of been taking over the past 3-4 years, but I still think the Eagles have some holes, even though, granted, they've looked good so far. But when your head man is Nick Sirianni, I still feel like they could be had at any game and any season. So let me know who you think the Giants should draft as their QB, because they for sure have to draft a QB for this upcoming draft. No excuses. Don't take an O-lineman. Don't take a running back. Don't be stupid. New York needs a hero, especially with on the other side of the river with Aaron Rodgers and just everything else, man. Sad times to be a New York fan. Football New York fan right now. Really, really dark times, but there is some light. There is some light, at least for the Giants. For the Jets, no. It's gonna be dark for at least another couple of years. But for the Giants, I do see a glimmer of hope. But right now, for the rest of this season, like I said, Danny Devito is the QB1. Started off pretty hot when he got the keys a year ago, but then he came back to earth. I don't really expect to see much from Devito this time around. I really want to see Drew Lock in there, just because Drew Lock was pretty good as the backup for the Seahawks. He actually had a clutch game a year ago when he beat the Eagles at home. And I think Drew Lock can make some magic with this New York team. And I think he could be kind of a local hero for the remainder of the year. I think he's got some big plays in him. I think he's got maybe a win or two in him, even though winning ball games isn't in the best interest for the Giants for the remainder of the year. But, you know, we'll see what happens. So you let me know if you think Devito is going to shine or is he going to falter. And do you want to see Drew Lock as the QB1? Let me know in the comments below. The Giants' remaining schedule, they play the Buccaneers at home, then at the Cowboys for that classic Thanksgiving game, 4:30. We're potentially going to see Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito at that primetime 4:30 Thanksgiving game. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Pretty crazy stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Man, oh man. And then after that, in the month of December, at home against the Saints versus the Ravens, at Atlanta versus the Colts, and at Philly. Listen, man, when you drop a game against the Carolina Panthers, I feel like every potential game moving forward is probably going to be an L. And like I said, I think that's the best thing moving forward for this franchise. So, you know, if you're a Giants fan, you got to be rooting for the team to lose. And I feel like they're just going to do that. And I feel like they're going to do that regardless. So if there are any Giants fans watching this vid, let me know how you feel about them going forward. Do you want Brian Daboll to return? Do you still believe in him? What should they do with Danny Dimes? And who do you think they should draft in the 2025 draft class? Let me know in the comments. If you made this far, please subscribe. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
They're down. They're driving down the field. Let's see if they can put 7 points on the board. First and goal. Throws the pass. The hit knocks the ball out incomplete. Well, they always say if you get your hands on the football, you got to make the catch. Yeah, right. The guy that made that rule up wasn't getting hit as he was trying to catch the football. Nice hit that time by the defender.
Second and goal from the 8. Pulls it in. Denver, touchdown. Green, second touchdown of the game. Still more than a quarter left in the game, and with that touchdown, they're well within striking distance.
Oh, they're right there now. Now you can sit back and change what you were trying to do. You don't have to play with desperation. You got to now what you've done by scoring, you've made the other team have to come out and play and take some chances.
Browns got a chance to return this one. Able to move past the 20 and brought down at the 23. Handing the ball off hasn't been something that's worked for either one of these teams today, Phil.
Well, what you have to show on the offensive side when you want to run the football, you got to show some determination. And the guys on the offensive side just get tougher and make it work.
Plenty of defensive backs out on the field for this one. The Steelers take it from the 23. Browns got